With the end of One Piece upon us, I think it's no secret that there's going to be an all-out dash for who becomes the next Pirate King. In fact, Oda's confirmed that there would be a great war, so it's pretty apparent that there will be. But who will actually be involved in this mad dash to become the Pirate King? In the Great War that makes Marineford look like a children's playground. The first and obvious answer is the Straw Hats. The crew has it all: a god, some dude who accidentally ate the Gomu Gomu fruit, the world's best swordsman, the world's top pervert who occasionally cooks, and Frankie. The Straw Hats alone are already a powerhouse, but not only will the 10 main Straw Hats be there though, but all of the Straw Hats Alliance is bound to join as well. If this is truly going to be the biggest war in the history of the show, we need at least one full Yonko crew together to fight. This means the Giant of Elbaf under Harujin, the Barto Club under Luffy's #1 simp, the Beautiful Pirates under Cavendish's #1 simp, and the Amazon Lily Pirates. Boa is bound to help Luffy, and her massive crew is bound to help the person her heart's been stolen by. Boa is a real power in this fight, and she's going to help a Yonko, Luffy. Luffy's a serious threat in this war, except there are a lot more threatening people, for example, the second gang. Directly opposing Luffy's Blackbeard. Blackbeard is the direct opposite of Luffy. The Loki to the Thor, the dog to the cat, the long ring long land to One Piece fans' enjoyments. He embodies everything Luffy doesn't, and he and his crew of Devil Fruit users are terrifying. We still don't know much about Blackbeard, such as how he can have multiple Devil Fruits, but he is very, very scary for all the wrong reasons. What is that fashion sense? Blackbeard's crew is composed of elite Devil Fruit users, and if he manages to beat Law in their current fight, he'll have 3 of the 4 rogue poneglyphs. Blackbeard's power is extremely apparent, as he's basically the direct antagonist to Luffy and his goal. I know I memed on it, but Blackbeard is genuinely direct opposite of Luffy, which is made clear since the beginning, but more on that in a different video. Blackbeard is the second Yonko crew that will participate in this war, and while we don't know the size of his grand fleet, we can assume it's larger than his average number of showers a week at least. What we can ascertain, other than the fact that this man doesn't shower, is that his crew is strong. Literally, because they have a guy who ate the strong fruit. They also have a literal teleporter, the thing that haunts me in my nightmares, and Kuzan. Sort of. We don't know for sure, but if he actually is with them, then, shit. Not keeping with the entire past of his things, Shanks will also participate in the war. Unfortunately, his streak of ending wars was over and his streak of ending lives began. I think most people agree that Shanks is the strongest character in the show right now. Maybe. Shanks is the strongest Yonko for sure, and his power is extremely apparent. Shanks and his crew are still a mystery to us, but his presence in the war will change everything. We've already seen not just his presence is capable of stopping a war, and making me realize how down bad I am, but we've never seen him truly fight before. Overall, it'll be amazing to see Shanks fight. Shanks will also probably assist Luffy, but his true goal in the war is something that isn't yet clear. Ever since we saw the "Hey Beck, don't you think it's time to go to the One Piece" panel, we don't actually know what his true goals in the world is. In the war, he could help Luffy, remember when I said Luffy might die? Yeah. Keeping up with the Yonko chain, let's talk about Buggy. Buggy will change a lot of things in the war with his presence and, only with his presence. So let's talk about his crew. The Cross Guild is fearsome with Mihawk, the strongest swordsman in the world, Crocodile, the, strongest sand user. The Cross Guild will be one of the most powerful factions in the war, but knowing Buggy's greed, he'll definitely want the One Piece for himself. Crocodile's also greedy though, so we could also probably expect some infighting between the crew. Meanwhile, Mihawk will, we don't know. What we do know is that he'll kick ass and probably shift the tides of the war. And if we're lucky, we'll get to see a Shanks vs. Mihawk fight. The two X's battle it out. Alright, now that we're done with the Yonkos, let's talk about the biggest faction in the war, the Marines. The Marines are a complicated branch though. While in terms of pure numbers they are the biggest faction, they will probably split up into many small factions with the good Marines on one side and the donut makers on the other. People whose senses of justice differ will be on opposite sides of the war, and we can assume that they will probably end up beating each other up. Smoker, Fujitora, and the missing Kobe will probably team up together in order to stop Akainu, Ryokogyu, and, this guy. Garp will probably help Luffy, and Sengoku, he's retired. He doesn't have to deal with this shit. Overall, though, the Marines are bound for some infighting as the final war occurs, but they are still a powerhouse that would drastically change the results of the war. Someone who will play a big part in this war, who is probably surprised to many, is Vegapunk. His creations, such as the Seraphim and the Pacifist Style, will affect the war's outcome. One a lot more than the other. The Seraphim are scary, and they're also on the Marine side, making them even scarier. We saw how they managed to kill tons of Blackbeard's crew, and to be able to do that, they have to be strong. Their strength isn't in question, similar to the next person on this list. Emu. Now, let's talk about the one-person army Emu. Emu already has an impressive track record of destroying 2 islands, Australia and Lucia, and they're bound to appear at the war. While their appearance isn't set in stone, their big pew-pew thing, which is probably an ancient weapon, is. Speaking of ancient weapons, let's talk about that for a bit. Damn, this is just tangent, the video. I believe that ancient weapons will play a big part in the final war. Shirahoshi's power will be influential if she manages to get where the war will take place, and the weapon underneath Wano will also be extremely important to the outcome of the battle. If Momo and Yamato manage to operate the weapon, there's no doubt it'll change the outcome of the war. Emu's weapon will also probably be a massive detriment to, everyone. You know, Emu's kind of rootless, not gonna lie. Anyways, the next group is by far the most mysterious group on this list, and I'm of course talking about the Revolutionary Army. We know this much about the Revolutionary Army. Yeah, 0%. The army's bound to show up to the fight, and they'll probably ally themselves with Luffy over their common enemy, the world government. But it's safe to say that the army will drastically change the war, as their strength has been hyped up time and time again. Dragon probably is one of the strongest characters in the entire show, and we know that the rest of the commanders are no joke either. All of them have proven their worth time and time again, and Sabo, if he's alive, will definitely be a game changer, unlike Ace, who was also a game changer, just for the wrong team. The final group we'll be talking about won't have that big of an impact on the war, but they will play their part, and that of course is the remaining worst generation and the remaining warlords. Law, if he's alive, Kid, Bonnie, and the monk dude who have been hyped up for too long to just sit back and watch as the war occurs. Law and Kid for sure are far too ambitious to just sit by and watch as the onslaught happens, as both of them want to become the Pirate King. The remaining warlords consist of, well, just him. Doflamingo's probably isn't going to be let out of jail just for a war, and we've talked about everyone else, so it's just Weevil. By the way, what happened with Weevil? The dude appeared, then disappeared faster than Spy Family's hype. The fuck? Overall though, thank you. That's it for me.